in this environment. Oh, sorry, my screen has stopped sharing. About myself. My name is QS Jennifer Musyimi. I'm from Kenya. Like I can see, I am the managing director of a farm called Anchor. It's a corn surveying farm based in Nairobi. I have done my bachelor's in corn surveying from the University of Nairobi, and also done a master's, an MBA from the same university. I love leadership a lot, and you can see I'm a council member at IQSK, which is the Institute of Corn Surveyors of Kenya. I'm also the chair of the newsletter and website committee for AQS, Africa Association of Corn Surveyors. And I'm a board member of WIRE, or what we call Women in Real Estate here in Kenya. And also I'm a member of MRICS. So my presentation will not take more than 10 minutes. It's going to be interactive, and it's going to be more of sharing my experience and inviting you people to, everyone to be inspired, to be touched, and to be empowered. I'm talking about 5 ways the corn surveyor can thrive during the COVID-19 pandemic. So we all know the coronavirus pandemic has hit the world economy like a ton of bricks. It's heavy, and it's not discriminatory. All industries are suffering. Well, say for medics, although if the health sector is just only the ones who are dealing with the pandemic that are kind of thriving. Others are affected. But mostly, the construction projects have practically shut down, like the previous speaker said. Projects have shut down or are only operating with a fraction of their capacity due to the restrictions of movements imposed by government around the world to curtail the spread of the vicious virus. Social distancing is a new normal, is a new vocabulary everyone has to talk about, everyone is talking about. And that means you can't be more than 2, more than 3 in a site, anywhere. And that means a construction site that is usually full of so many people will not go on. So like I said, I want to leave all of us money. My intention is to leave everyone motivated, inspired, and empowered, because I'm going to share my experiences and invite you to give your experiences as well. So this pandemic too shall pass. It's not gonna be forever, but it could take a while, 5 months. Some people are talking about till end of the year. And that can be a challenging period. What do you do? What do we do should this period go on forever? How do we make the best out of the situation, right? So here are a few tips on how the QS can thrive during this pandemic. And I'm dubbing them thinking different, right? Thinking differently during this period. A very hard time, but we must think differently. So my 5 tips are: first, accept, then negotiate, then use technology, be creative, and the 5th one, to be aware. One by one, I'm going to just discuss it. So in acceptance, I'm talking about this being the new normal. We must therefore all adjust. We must create new ways of surviving. We must know that because the government has said so, we are going to work from home. Most people are working from home apart from essential services are closed, construction sites are closed, so you're working remotely. But that means obviously construction projects cannot go on, especially the implementation stage. But there's a bit of it, once you accept, you can do in the office, especially projects which are during the design stage, the documentation stage. Those could go on. There's a ability for people to have a meltdown during this period. And I find a lot of people just spending a lot of time bumming and not doing much. Yet there's a lot that can be done. And that can only start if we accept that this is a new normal. My second tip is on negotiation. We must negotiate new terms for rent, given that the income sources have reduced. And this is one thing I've taken on myself, if I can share myself, just give an experience. I took on this challenge with my landlord and told them, look, there is full disclosure here. The income levels are reduced. But we want to keep this office because it's strategic. What can we do to help you and help ourselves? Because if we leave the office right now, it's not going to give you any advantage. And I managed to get a whole quarter off of my annual rent. My second one, on this negotiation is also we need to negotiate on new project terms with clients and projects and employers and employers. You must not leave things open-ended, even when they look obvious, because they could lead to serious disputes in the future. What are we saying? We're saying, therefore, go ahead and make an official request to the client and tell them, look, the project is suspended. Let it be in record. Let it be in writing. Give notices, give advisory notes to say there could be some cost implications because of this. Otherwise, if you leave it like that, it becomes a big thing. It becomes a big mountain to deal with when this pandemic is over. Moving on to my third tip, I'm talking about the deployment of technology. And it's obvious, like you can see, the new normal of doing meetings right now is through Zoom, through Slack, is through all these apps. They're working. And in fact, it's made me thinking that we probably don't need all these spaces when this pandemic is over. Do we even need to pay all these rent to all convene in an office, especially when we are in the construction industry? We work on projects, we work on tasks, tangible tasks, smart tasks, which can be done and executed from anywhere. All we need is just convene and check on each other. And moreover, BIM or BIM, so to speak, is a new way of doing work. I'll be talking about new things and new ways of doing things when we resume. I'm about to just finish my presentation because I said it's very short. My fourth tip is create and reinvent. We all know and we've seen memes that Albert Einstein created the theory of relativity during the 1918 influenza pandemic. A theory that was later to become very grand. This is a big deal. He made use of the time, he made use of the situation, he made use of the solitude to create, to reinvent himself, to read, to do research. And this is a challenge to all of us. We could go ahead and do this as well. We could create cost management templates and policies and processes, right? I said I'm going to share my experiences, and I've taken on going on to do my ISO certification processes during this period. Because all what it takes is sit down and think and recreate processes and apply for certification. Because they've been working, it's just that I've been too busy in the rat race, too busy with projects. I've never actually sat down to document all this and to make sure that something good comes out of it. And I'm also saying you could create fun and new ways of team building, right? I'm seeing people on these apps to have a happy hour, so to speak. You bring your wine, bring your tea, and let's meet at 5 o'clock. And everyone sips from their computer from the other side and laugh and connect virtually. And believe you me, it makes a difference because it can be dark and boring. It's usually more often than not, out of where you live or out of your house. So we must take care of our mental health. Must take care of our emotional health in a creative way. Because for sure, these interventions will make us bounce and make you bounce better, easier and quickly after the dark era is over. And it's coming soon. And we don't want to feel like we lost so much during this period. While we have lost, we must have a springboard so that it becomes better for all of us. So finally, I urge all of us to be aware. There are many interventions being worked on, right? Including vaccines and the to go ahead and get vaccinated because we need to go back to our normal. Therefore, we need to keep tabs with the news and know and have the intelligence to pick what is right, because there's also a lot of junk. There's a lot of junk that in the media that can make us panic, can make us paranoid. We should have the intelligence to pick and to think, because we're all be sane for now and forever. As I finish, Ade and everyone else, and before I thank all of you, I just want to urge all of us to most importantly keep safe. If you have anything to contribute to what I've said or ask any questions, you could put it on the chat group, on the chat, so that we can react on it. So thank you very much, Ade.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you. We're very grateful. Like you rightly said, the participants are dropping questions on the chat box. I will advise you kindly check so that you can prepare ahead. I call on from Abuja to make his presentation. After Zotsmi's presentation,